Now, there are calls for urgent steps to end avoidable deaths in the Ghana healthcare system. A 12-year-old boy over the weekend lost his life at the Battor Catholic Clinic after his parents were unable to secure a bed and ensure his transfer to a major health facility here in Accra for urgent medical attention. It took hours to secure an ambulance and even longer for paramedics to confirm the availability of a bed here in Accra to enable the journey to commence from the Volta region. Well, that journey never took off. There's more in this worrying report.
Member of Parliament for Ningu Pram Sam George first shared the story on social media. He recounts the deceased 12-year-old Henry Nete had been referred from the Battor Catholic Hospital to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital but couldn't be admitted due to the lack of beds. According to Sam George, eventually when 37 Military Hospital agreed to admit him, the ambulance refused to move from Battor without a confirmation from the hospital in Accra. Father of the deceased, Michael Nete, tells Joy News his son died after 5 hours of struggling to first gain admission and then get a medical transport to Accra.
We did everything possible. Around 8:13 there, about where the ambulance, we finally gotten the agreement from the ambulance that they are ready to go with us. Establishing the code 237 again became another wahala. So it is just a mere failure on the system that has led to the loss of, if that is not even the main problem, I would say that has caused the loss of the life. It's just unfortunate, and I don't know.
Michael Nete wants government to remove challenges affecting healthcare delivery in the country.
Why must it be that a call to nationals for it to be directed to region to whatsoever? One official just told me that, look, the ambulance is parked to the next to his house at Battor. The constituency ambulance is parked next to his house at Battor. Why can't we even decentralize this deployment of the ambulance? Why can't the district manage that thing?
Member of Parliament for North Tong, Samuel Okujetu Ablakwa, is of the opinion a ban on government appointees seeking medical treatment abroad will compel government to fix the problems facing the health sector.
Why can't we have a health system that works for all, regardless of status, size of pocket, who you know, or who knows you? This cannot be normal, and we cannot accept this. The challenges in our broken healthcare system must not be allowed to fester. Some of the challenges are so basic that we have absolutely no excuse. I recall my surprise when I discovered some 6 years ago that the Battor Catholic Hospital had no incubators at its pediatric ward. I immediately provided 2. I recently donated another incubator to the Akuse Government Hospital in the Eastern region when I found out that they had none for over 7 decades. There is the need to implement a policy of no medical treatment abroad for members of the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary with immediate effect. This appears to me to be the best way to address the numerous challenges in the health sector. This will force us to get things right and do right to avoid the needless death of the 12-year-old, which continues to traumatize me.
It may be recalled that the issue of unavailability of beds came up strongly for discussion in June 2018, when a 70-year-old man died after his family carried him to as many as 7 major hospitals in Accra but couldn't be admitted to any of them. The Ghana Health Service then directed that the lack of beds should not be a basis for patients to be turned away from hospitals. The Ghana Ambulance Service says its delay in transporting the 12-year-old boy from Battor is not contrary to the Health Service directive, since it was a referral case and not a patient-to-hospital transfer. Professor Ahmed Zakaria is the CEO of the Ambulance Service.
That directive is already been obeyed, because that's why the patient is receiving care already at Battor Government Hospital. The patient has received some amount of care up to a point where he needs to be moved to another facility. That arrangement then falls under the referral system. And that referral policy, as part of the gatekeeper system, is such that before they move, they must establish that there is a bed available at the next facility. Because of what use will it be? A patient is already on a bed, is moved to go and is put on the floor, on the stretcher, on a chair. Because that facility, the idea about making sure everybody receives care. You remember that even encourage people to be nursed in wheelchairs, sometimes in ordinary chairs, plastic chairs. But you cannot take a very critically ill patient and go to a facility where the beds are full and you have to nurse the patient in a wheelchair. That's the point I'm talking about.
Now, the Ghana Medical Association is calling for reforms to ensure a digital platform that enables hospitals to communicate with each other on transfer of patients, as against requiring paramedics and hospital staff to make calls to confirm bed space. Dr. Titus Bayo is the Deputy General Secretary of the association.
How must it depend on us calling one doctor and another? When that administrative directive was given, some of us said just a directive without any backing system will fall flat on its face. And this is what we are seeing. Why don't we have a system? Why can we not have a system where the hospitals talk to each other on a system that if you need to move a patient, right on the system, you can tell what is happening. Look, just call IT students from even secondary schools and give them a competition to develop a robust system that can help inter-hospital management of beds and referral systems. And in a week, this solution will be solved, the problem will be solved.